What's going on, my friends? Chris here. Want to give you guys an update today of Bitcoin. We're going to be getting into some stuff and working through the time frames. We did a live stream, I think it was about 2 days ago, and people really seemed to like it. So I wanted to piggyback off that again and do that again with you guys today. So we're going to give a little bit of time for people to get in here, and then we're going to dig into this. But what I always like to start out with, guys, I want my channel to be about education and information, not about hype. So what I was doing was reading a little bit this morning, and I'm trying to do this live stream before I head into work. But the book I was reading was 7 Chart Patterns That Consistently Make Money. And what you'll notice is at the end of this book here, what it says closing thoughts. Chart patterns form because people react to price movements in consistent ways based mostly on fear, greed, and herd mentality. Knowing this, we can then focus our attention on chart patterns, formations, and take advantage of the resulting opportunities included in this book. Number 1, a stock is never so low that it can't go lower or so high that it can't go higher. I think a lot of people really underestimate that, the fact that prices can just keep getting halved, guys. I was here for the 2018 bear market, and I remember just looking at price and you're like, oh, it can't go any lower. And then it'll drop another 20%. Then it'll drop another 20%. And it just keeps getting chewed up. Okay, so that's something you always have to be careful of. A stock is never so low that it can't go lower or so high that it can't go higher. And we also know the ones in the bull market where they'll go so high it doesn't make sense, like what Dogecoin did. Okay, the relative strength, everything can be overbought. It doesn't matter. It'll just keep going up. So always remember that. Number 2, the key to being a successful trader is not losing money in between the big moves, but staying in the market so that you are there when the big moves happen. And guys, I think that's the most important one, and the reason why I highlighted that for where we're at now, because right now we're in between those big moves, right? We had that massive drop. We've been consolidating sideways. Everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen. I told you I did my poll over 1,000 votes. I think it was 1.2 thousand votes. It was almost 50-50 whether people think we're going to hit 40,000 next or 20,000 next. And I would love to hear your opinion in the comment section. And we're going to get to some comments before we get into the Bitcoin chart. Okay. But it's so important to remember that not losing money in between the big moves, but staying in the market so that you're there for when the big moves come. Okay. It's so important, guys. And what's going on? Appreciate you all being here with me today. All right. So what we're going to do here, we're going to dig into Bitcoin. I'm going to get into my chart, and we're also going to look at Glassnode today. So if you guys like these live streams, you want me to keep doing them from time to time, smash up that like button, help us out, and we're going to dig into this. And I'm just going to show you what I'm looking at here, guys. Okay. So let's do it. All right. So number one thing, and what we're going to do here, we're going to get into the chart on the 1-day time frame, and then I'm actually going to bounce back, answer a few questions, and then we're going to get into Glassnode as well. Okay, so what you'll see is yesterday we did get a little bit of a bounce out of here, but still, guys, this could be considered a lower high unless we get up above the previous level of 35,365. And what you'll notice here is, and basically what this book was talking about, is you don't want to get caught in chop zones like we're in right now. I've talked to you guys. I took profits quite a while ago, and I'm still waiting for a great move in the market, a great opportunity once I have confirmation, because I'm not going to be shorting Bitcoin. Okay, just to put it out there, because with Bitcoin, and you can use stop losses, buy stop losses, but for Bitcoin, some of these big moves can come in to the upside in 20 or 30% candles. Okay. And I don't want to get wrecked like that. For me, I'm just sitting back patiently waiting right now. But one thing you have to realize when we're looking at this trend still, guys, what you can see, our high here was a lower high. Here's a lower high, and then we were trying to get up through that. So it's important that we actually break up through that and start having candle closes below this, or above, excuse me, this 20 EMA, which is going to be in purple here. Okay, because right now on the 1-day time frame still, guys, why I said it's such a dangerous area to just open up a long now. Okay, if you're a long-term holder, that's a whole different thing. We're talking about trading right now. But if you're looking to go long right now, this is a difficult spot to go long when we have the 20 EMA pressing down upon us. Okay, as well as this overhead resistance, which is correlating together at $35,000 right there. The next overhead resistance you can see is this 250-day moving average, and this is in yellow. We held this basically the entire bull market that we are in. If we go back here, So people can't tell me that this is not significant here. You can see we first got up above it April 28th, and the price was at about $8,000. And now you can see we're actually trading below that. Okay, so we actually have no moving average support right now from the 20 EMA all the way up to the 250 EMA. No support right now. Okay, we're trading below them. So in terms of us to make a bullish move here, we have to get up through the 35,000. We're also going to have to get up through about 38,000. And that's going to be our previous high that we saw rejection at, which is going to be at $41,000. And that's also going to correlate with this 200 EMA, which is going to be in white here, guys. I'm specifically looking at price action right now. And right now, the price action, you have to realize we're in an intermediate term downtrend right now, right? Look how different this structure looks, okay? Our impulse waves here on the way down are on heavy volume when we have our reactions, light volume, push down, heavy volume, and then we've just been consolidating sideways. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin can't get moving from here and make a nice, strong upside break. We absolutely can. But right now, this is a tough spot because of the way that the river's flowing. The trend is flowing down right now in the short to intermediate term, right? Relative strength is at 45 right now, but you want to see that price action changing. So if we get into the 12-hour time frame here, and we'll just work our way through. So keep an eye on this 20 EMA, which is going to be in purple here. Remember, the trend's going to change in the shorter term first. So like on the 1 hour time frame, then the 4 hour, then the 12, and then the 1 day, and we're going to have to push up through those things. So on the 12-hour time frame, we did actually have a candle close up above this 20 EMA, but it did not come on a ton of volume. You can see the volume down in this range right here. We didn't get a ton of volume with this bounce yesterday, and now we're running into this 50 EMA here. So what we need to do is break through that, turn 35,000 into support before we potentially go up and test some of those higher levels if we are to change the trend here in the shorter term. Next, we're going to take a look at the 4 hour time frame. And on the 4 hour time frame, here we are now trading up above the 20, the 50, and we saw a little rejection at the 100 here, also correlating with that 35,000. We're still getting pressed down by the 250 and the 200 moving average. Okay, but it's a little better looking here on the 4 hour, just in terms of we had this big push down, we pushed up almost one of those W patterns, and now what we'd have to do is break up through the 35,000. But you have to be careful looking for little micro bullish patterns when the trend basically in the intermediate term has been down. Something you always have to pay attention to, guys. And then we'll get into the 1 hour time frame. I'm going to come back, take some questions before we get into Glassnode and look at a little bit more here. So on the 1 hour time frame, we have made a little bit of progress here from the last live stream that I did with you guys. So basically the last time on the 1 hour time frame, we were trading below all these moving averages. And what we're trying to do now on the 1 hour time is turn all these into support so that we can start changing that trend for the 4 hour next. But you can see on the 1 hour time frame here, we have been in a little bit of an uptrend here. Here's a high, higher high, higher high, higher high, and then here's our higher low. So that's how it starts here, guys. And what I would even do is put a little trend line here. But for me, the thing that I've been doing is just being patient right now until I have a little bit more confirmation in the market. I don't want to give back profits that I've already made by not being patient and jumping into a position too soon, if that makes sense to people. Okay, so let's go back here. I want to take a couple questions from everybody. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think. I mean, do you think starting out on the 1 hour time frame here with this little bit of a trend change, is it going to continue, or are we just going to roll over around that $35,000 that we saw some rejection at? Thanks, East Coast. I appreciate all love. And you know, guys, with cryptocurrency, something that you have to realize, this is a very manipulated, unregulated market. So the best thing you can do is go off price action. But even right now, if all of a sudden a whale jumped in and it went up 20% in a day, then I have my long-term hodl bags. And you say, okay, I have some exposure. But in terms of my trading account, I'm not messing around in this area right now. It's a very hard thing to do, but I'm trying to be as patient as I can right now. Right? And my support prices that I'm basically looking at right now, if we get back into that, to let you guys know, and we're going to go out to the 1 day time frame. So on the 1 day time frame, the support areas that I'm looking at that we desperately need to continue to hold are going to be roughly about $30,882, this area here. Now, if we bust down through that, okay, we don't always just have to have a capitulation dump, guys. We can have fake outs, all different types of stuff. But if we do lose this area here, do you see all this support here? If we lose it, I'm going to be looking down. I have target areas at around $24,000, then down around that $20,000 range is what I'm going to be looking at. But still, you know, if we go back to this, take a look at the trend, guys. Look how different these things look. Okay, so this entire uptrend, we were basically trading up above the 50, which is going to be in pink here. So almost the entire time we held that as support, as well as this 100 and 200, and now they're acting as overhead resistance. So for me to just jump in and say, yeah, I want to take a position now, that's gambling. I want more confirmation. I want to start seeing some of those higher highs and higher lows and try to get the chunk out of the trend. Like over here, do you see this, guys? So say this was the spot you entered on this breakout here, you'd be trying to capture this move in here, use that trailing stop loss, and then if it rolls over, you can look for the next great opportunity and you still have those profits that are intact. It's extremely important. You know, guys, it'd be easy for me to come on here and just say, hey, we're going to the moon. I'd get a million more views. People would probably like me much more, but I'm not going to do that to you. Okay, I want people to learn this technical analysis so you can do it for yourself. And I see a lot of people, I wouldn't be holding any crypto right now. I get that, you know, and there was a part of me that at the top when I was selling Ethereum at $4,000 and everything, I almost got out of everything. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to keep some hodl bags, everything just in case. And like I've talked to you about, my trading portfolio has went up 10x in the past year, and my hodling has been more so around like a 4x. So my trading has far outperformed hodling. And that's just me, guys, but that's what I put my time and effort into. And see, that's another good point too. I do believe that there's a lot of people who are fake bullish, but they're actually bearish underneath. When you're looking at price action here, guys, and here's the way that I'd put it. If you're working in a major investment firm and you're looking at this price action now, besides manipulation, and you're in control of millions of dollars, do you think you would take this trade when all these things are going against you with all this overhead resistance? No, you would wait for a great opportunity to where you start seeing that trend moving back to the upside here. And we potentially could be in a wave 4 overall, and wave 4s are extremely difficult to figure out before we potentially could go up for that next leg or that 5th wave, excuse me, in the macro sense. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. And that's the thing, guys. I'm just always going to tell you how I feel, honestly. And honestly, right now, I have hodling positions that I have on. But in terms of my trading account, I don't have $1 invested in Bitcoin right now in terms of trading. I'm just completely sitting back in my profits, patiently waiting. And it is driving me crazy. I talked about this on the last stream. My wife's like, man, this market's got to get going because you're going nuts here. And, you know, I'm just continuously trying to study and do things, but you can get a little yancy and you can want to force a position. You know what, DGB Phil, I have not even looked into that yet. I haven't even looked at the chart of that. So that's definitely something I'll check out and take a look. Maybe it's something good for trading, and I appreciate that tip. But for me right now, I've mostly been just focusing on Bitcoin. And the reason I've been focusing on Bitcoin is because it's the major player. It has the most liquidity. Because guys, if you just jump in some altcoin right now and say Bitcoin does have a massive dump, then you're going to be in big trouble because of the percentage losses that you'll end up having. Okay. And also, if people have more questions here, go ahead, put them in right now. I'm going to spend about another minute here, and then we're going to get into Glassnode a little bit. And I want to show you some things behind the scenes. Okay. And I appreciate all the thumbs up, guys, all the love out there. And if you like these live streams. Yeah, John. So I'm holding just a little bit like in a long-term portfolio for BTC. Is what I'm doing right now. So I let that ride just so I have an anti-FOMO position in case we do get one of these major pumps out of nowhere. Then I can say, hey, I got some exposure, no big deal, and I won't FOMO back into the market. So I also think that's a good way to do it as well. Have some anti-FOMO positions on as well. Okay, so thoughts on Litecoin. The main thing I would tell you is don't even worry about Litecoin right now until we find direction for Bitcoin. And that would be about the same for any altcoin. I mean, you can look at volume, and if we do have some major pumps, maybe you can look and try to play some things pretty quick. But right now, it's all about Bitcoin. Everything's about Bitcoin. And then I would say Ethereum right behind that. And yeah, absolutely. We could have, guys, I would love to do a live stream. And I'm not counting this out. Bitcoin could absolutely still go to $100,000 by the end of this year. But we have to figure out this corrective phase that we're in right now, find and make sure that we have the bottom and have confirmation before we start going long again. And you know, guys, it was funny. You can go back to some of my videos. I don't like to, brag on myself. I'm not bragging on myself, but when I was looking at Bitcoin and we were going through and we were looking at the stock market chart, basically the psychology of a market cycle, I was saying, anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 for this year. 50,000 was more conservative. I thought about 100,000. Then my high end was 150. But there were people who were just berating me the whole time. It's going to 1 million. It's going to 2 million this year. You're way too conservative, Chris. This is the reason why I'm conservative, guys. I've lived through these markets. I've spent 4.5 years in these markets now, and I understand that profits can get away from you extremely fast. All right, so let's go into Glassnode. Quick couple things I wanted to show you here on Glassnode. All right, so what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be looking at market indicators. So we're going to be looking at top and bottom indicators. And the first one we're going to be looking at here, this is called the MVRZ score. And what it says is the MVRZ score is used to assess when Bitcoin is over/undervalued relative to its fair value. When market value is significantly higher than realized value, it has historically indicated a market top, which is going to be the red zone, while the opposite has indicated market bottoms, which are going to be in the green zone. Okay, technically, we'll just call it the MZ score, is defined as the ratio between the difference of market cap and realized cap. So what I wanted to point out here, and we're going to take a look at this here. So basically every top that Bitcoin's had, we have made it into the red. Okay, so up here in the red, whenever you see that, basically that's a time when you want to start thinking about taking profits when we get up into that. Because like they were saying, we're overbought. So you can see in 2013, we got way outside the red. That was so extreme all the way up there. And then we had a massive sell-off all the way back down almost to the green. And then we did it again. So this was that double bubble. We got up into there, and then we came all the way back down into the green area here. So basically, whenever you see us touch the green, that's for the most part a pretty good buying area. So you can see down here, we touched it, and then take a look at that run that we had. All right. So 2017, look, we got outside of the red, pushed outside of it. Okay. Then we had our massive bear market and our sell-off, and then take a look down in the green here. It would have been a great buying opportunity, right? So what we had up here, when we had this rounded top, basically, we did get up into the red, but we didn't get near as overextended as we did in some of these other times throughout Bitcoin's history. And guys, this could be diminishing cycles. So that's always something that you want to pay attention to. So this could have been the top here, right? But another thing that I look at too is, could this be the mid-cycle correction? So I'm not, ruling that out either, because we didn't get too far up into this red like we have at other periods of time. So it's either diminishing cycles, and that was the top, or this is a mid-cycle correction, and we're most likely going to get a higher level up into that red at some point. But right now, if we zoom in here, take a look where we're at. We are not in the green, but we're getting closer to that green area for us. Guys, right down in this range. So this has been an extreme sell-off where we're at right now, and we're just waiting to find that true bottom. Okay, I got a couple more I wanted to go into with you here. All right, so we're going to take a look at the reserved risk next. We're just going to kind of work our way down through here. This is another one. Whenever you get up into the red here, it's great profit-taking opportunities. In the greens, good buying opportunities. And right now, we have not entered into the green here yet. And what's interesting is we did not even get up into the red on this one when we made our top. You can see how much lower that is here. And if we click back out, each time we've hit these tops, we've been in the red besides this time. So what I want to do is step back, and I want you guys to answer the question. In your opinion, do you believe that this is a nasty, gnarly mid-cycle correction in terms of the bull market? Or do you believe these are diminishing cycles and we are now in the bull market and we're going to continue to be getting pushed down to much lower levels? I would love to hear your guys' take on that. And let me know if you like the glass node stuff as well. So those are top and bottom indicators that you're looking at. I'm also going to read some comments here as well. I did not see the tether spike yet. I'll have to take a look at that. So were you guys able to see the glass node that I was going through? I apologize if it was frozen. Let me know if you saw that, please. Okay, guys, I must be having some trouble with that. I apologize. So hopefully you kind of got a little bit of an explanation from that in terms of the tops and the bottoms that we are looking at. But no, I did not see the tether spike. I'm going to have to take a look at that. So I apologize about the glass node, guys. I'm going to have to try to figure this out with the live stream here. This is just new stuff that I'm trying to figure out for you. So we're obviously going to have some pitfalls from time to time. Thoughts on UDT? So it's UDT. I'm going to have to take a look at that. And guys, actually right now we have a big, okay. Looks like a mid-cycle correction based on past cycles. You guys thinking? And if a few more of you could let me know if you think this is a mid-cycle correction or if you think this is the actual bear market that we're going to go down into. And guys, you know, you have to realize we went from almost $3,000 all the way up to, what was it, $65,000. That's been a heck of a move here. Yeah, a lot of people are leaning towards a mid-cycle correction. I could see that as well, guys, because of how manipulated that this space is. Just a massive shakeout where we lose, you know, almost like that double bubble before where we lose 60 to 80%. And then all of a sudden, you know, we get that massive move. I haven't done too much with the Binance projects. Guys, right now, my main focus is just going to be that Bitcoin and Ethereum right now until we find a little bit more direction, and then we can start looking at some of the altcoins. Rubicon saying if we had that typical 80% dump like previous cycle tops, then I would think it's a bear market. A lot of people saying mid-cycle. Yeah, there's a lot of different factors from 2017, the one that I went through. And guys, this is something I was looking for as well, was basically that blow off top, because basically we have ended each market cycle with a blow off top. This would be the first one that we did not, those true blow off tops. So this would be a little bit different for us. But the main thing I wanted to do with you guys today was just kind of show you where we're at in terms of the price action and work our way through. So on the 1 hour time frame, starting to get a little bit stronger, but we need to push that to that 4 hour time frame, and then the 12 hour, and then that 1 day. Right, technically we are in a bear market, right? It just depends on how long it lasts. Blow off top could come from the altcoin cycle. And guys, I apologize about the glass node. I'll work on that, and next time we do this, I will make sure we have that up. Other people thinking we can go down to 15,000. Yeah, the total 2, I believe that is the altcoin market, has a blow off top. It did take place. And guys, just to go back to the Bitcoin chart real quick. So let me do this, and we're going to take a very fast look at Ethereum as well here. So this is the Bitcoin chart. Let's take a look at ETH. So ETH right now, we have crossed back through $2,000. And ETH has not been as beat up as basically Bitcoin has. Okay, so what you're looking at here for Ethereum, we're trying to have a daily candle close back up above the 200 moving average. If we can get back up above that, that's a different scenario than what Bitcoin's in, because that 200, that's going to be your long-term moving average that a lot of guys are looking at. So if we can have a candle close back up above that, start setting higher highs and higher lows on top of that, we're going to have a better probability of going back up to the upside. And we're also trading up above the 250 moving average, unlike Bitcoin. So you can see this in yellow here. So ETH has actually been a little bit stronger than what Bitcoin has. And if we get into the technicals, right now for Ethereum on the 1-day time frame, and you can see right here, guys, a 10 sell, a 10 neutral, and a 6 buy. Oscillators 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy. Moving averages 9 sell, 1 neutral, and a 5 buy is what we're looking at there. And if we get into the 1 week time frame, we have a 7 sell, a 9 neutral, and a 10 buy. Oscillators 2 sell, 8 neutral, and a 1 buy. So it has been stronger than Bitcoin. And if we get through the time frames, we take a look at the 12-hour here. Really pay attention to volume. Volume's going to tell us a lot. Okay, so on the 12-hour right now, we're basically trading below all of our moving averages here. So a lot of overhead resistance would come in around that $2,500 range. And then the 4-hour, see guys just trying to change the trend here. So even small on the 4-hour, push up, higher low, higher high, higher low, and we want to change that and keep trying to push up on heavier volume. In uptrends, you want the volume to spike when we have these up moves and then contract when you retrace. And then when you spike again, you want that big swell of volume, essentially, is what you're looking for. But ETH is a little bit ahead of Bitcoin right now, if we're taking a look at that. I'm going to read some comments here. Let's see. With all the bullish news from these countries adopting BTC, we're not going back to 15K. Don't forget about the 6-month chart. That'd be a good one to look at. I haven't looked at that. What's going on, guys? Love having you in here with me. Okay, do I think ETH can flip BTC and market cap eventually down the road? I do think that's a possibility. I do. Basically, what I look at it, guys, Bitcoin is the digital gold, and then I look at Ethereum basically as the backbone of this, or the structure of this entire cryptocurrency market. I think ETH has a lot of use cases. I know people want to dog on ETH, but I definitely think that's one down the road that's really going to surprise people. Well, good, guys. I'm glad you're enjoying these live streams. It's awesome. Let me know in the comments here, guys. Do you think that Ethereum's ever going to be able to flip Bitcoin, or is Bitcoin always going to stay number one in terms of the market cap? Think of ETH like the oil. Yep. And guys, this is the thing too. When I'm talking about, hey, I'm in cash for my trading account or whatever, believe me, I don't believe in the US dollar. I think the US dollar is trash. Once they took it off the gold standard and the inflation, everything that's taking place. But what I'm just talking about is the stability until we find direction. Okay, even using stable coins, whatever, the stability that you have until you can find directions and clearly see that we're going back up into an uptrend before you take out more longs. That's my opinion. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying they've been in stable coins or USD as well because, you know, they didn't want to see all these gains go away. Guys, when we were accumulating down in the bear market, you know, in that accumulation phase at the bottom, and you've ridden all this up, you don't want those profits to go away. And guys, if you have any more questions, I have about another 5 minutes here and then I got to get to work. I just want to get on here and talk with you a little bit. So throw out those questions, and I apologize about the glass node. We'll try to figure that out next time. But hopefully you at least got to hear me explain about it a little bit. My stable coin of choice, I would say USDC would probably be my stable coin. Yeah, I was a bag holder in 2017 as well, and I learned my lesson. Guys, that's one thing I promised myself. I learned my lesson. I was going to take profits if I ever had them again, and I've made up for what I lost in 2017. Because like I told you, I got in at a great price, and I think it was June 2017, rode it all the way up, and then it just all the way back down, like halfway back down. Then I finally took some profits, but still, I lost a lot of virtual money that I could have taken, which was disappointing. And Tether, what I'm afraid of is basically just that big blow up, guys, where all of a sudden we have just a terrible problem with Tether. So that's definitely a black swan event. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but definitely something I want to keep my eye on. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end it here. I hope to do this again soon. I love you all. It's awesome to be here with you. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, my friends.